it's taken way too long. Anyone who's been anywhere near Melbourne CBD would know that it's been too much of a ghost town for too long, out of over-the-top fears in and around coronavirus. But the public service has been ordered to go back to work and busy up the joint. Here is the Minister making that statement today.
And that also coincides with the changes that we've made to workplace arrangements for the Victorian public sector, which is requiring staff to be at their original place of work for 3 days a week. So for the CBD, that means up to 90,000 shifts of Victorian public service workers here in Melbourne, adding to the vibrancy of our city.
Nick, what bullshit? No one's got the virus. No one's got it in Melbourne. Go for the full 5. 3 days a week?
Look, I'm going to try and take a glass half full take on this, Paul, and say that this was a big step forward for Melbourne today. You know, at the City of Melbourne, we've committed to getting our workforce back 100%. And, you know, I might have remarked that it was time for the office workers of Melbourne to kick off the doona and get back to the office. But
are they back now? 100% back now?
Well, the density limits that are announced by the government today mean that that's not quite possible. So we've signalled that we will get back to 100% as soon as we can.
Oh.
I mean, look, there was a lot of really positive things there today. So they've moved away from a cap on the number of people who can attend workplaces and instead use density limits. You can now have 100 people come to your home for a gathering, and a lot of the other restrictions around mask wearing have been lifted, save and except for public transport and a few other settings. So that's wonderful news for Melbourne, and yep, I want to say nothing but positive things about it, Paul, as you could imagine.
Yeah, but look, as long as it's a goal that 100%... Honestly, they should all be back.
All should be back. I'm very pleased to say that in theatres around New South Wales, 100% audiences are going to be permitted.
I was in one on Friday, but we all had to wear a mask.
Yeah, well, at least we're there.
Well, public servants aren't back in New South Wales.
At least we're able to go and enjoy the spectacle of a performance.
So hang on, Mark. So what? Despite the fact that there has been fewer cases than even the little spike in Melbourne a few weeks ago now, they're not back in New South Wales.
No, budget estimates, the Treasury Secretary said 3 days a week. They come in 3 days a week in the Treasury. And I had some data from the Attorney General saying his non-essential staff, 75% are still working from home. So, you know, I don't think this is a good productivity move in the long term, but there's a lot of inconsistencies about these rules. And quite frankly, I think what's happened, a lot of the public servants who run the New South Wales government, they just say to the ministers, no, we don't want to come back. And the ministers say, oh, okay, you're in charge. And that's the way it's played out.
Mark, I agree with your point on productivity. I think there's been a report done that says productivity Mondays and Fridays has dropped way down, and we can't afford to have low productivity, and federally they're not back either. So it's time they all went back to work.
Yeah, we keep talking about 0 days.
And, you know, and the governments are the model employers. If the governments say all their employees have got to come back into the office to work, then the private sector will follow.